Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the Angry Dad Progress Report. I'm your host, David Clinkscales, and I'm excited to kick off this journey with you. This podcast is all about accountability, growth, and improving as individuals and as fathers. Have you ever looked in the mirror and realized that the person staring back at you, the one leading your family, shaping your children, setting the tone in your home, may not be the person you want to be? We all have shortcomings in areas that we can improve. But the real dilemma is, are we willing to acknowledge them? Then, are we willing to step up, own our mistakes, and commit to doing better? That's what the Angry Dad Progress Report is all about. It isn't just about being a dad, it's about becoming a better person through self reflection and being accountable in areas where I may have fallen short, especially within my own family. No one, especially me, wants to see themselves as a bad parent. Maybe bad isn't the right word according to my millennial, but to me, that's how it feels. I pride myself on being available to my family and ready to act in a minute's notice. I'm willing to do anything for my family. I know many of you feel the same way. Today, as an introduction to this podcast, I want to give you a better understanding of who I am and how the Angry Dad Progress Report came to be. Let me take you back to where all this began. Picture it, Michigan. It's Christmas time, 1975. Bohemian Rhapsody is the best song on the radio. And my mother decided to give birth to me in this cold, 30 degrees cold Michigan snow. The number 7 song in the US was Dana's It's Gonna Be a Cold Christmas. Take a hint, lady. It was so cold, I didn't leave the hospital for the first few months of my life, not until it warmed up. Well, that's not exactly true. I guess I didn't leave the Budworth Hospital NICU for the first 10 months of my life because of my mother's addictions. I was a crack baby before crack. When I finally did go home to my mother, she was caught off guard and clearly unprepared for my arrival. The audacity of the hospital to spring this baby on her. According to testimony, the court saw fit to remove my brother Michael and me from her custody and place us into the foster system. I spent the next few years of my life with the Vandertines. They gave me my first experience in a family setting. I still have pictures of me being on that rural farm in Caledonia, Michigan. Ultimately, my brother and I were adopted by Pamela and Thomas Clinkscales. My new parents, whose name and legacy I proudly carry, were educators with graduate degrees. My overachiever mother, Pam, was president of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated at Kent State University. Thomas was a 3-sport captain of the football, baseball, and basketball teams at Kent State University. Quick fact, he is also in the Hall of Fame as a player in Ohio, in the Hall of Fame as a coach in Michigan. Yet all that education and experience didn't quite prepare the Clinkscales for us. As children, we excelled academically and athletically, but we did some crackhead shit socially. They didn't make college degrees for this kind of retardation. Man, they had us in church and in therapy. But somehow I still ended up spending more time locked up in juvie and in programs than I did living with them. After the Clinkscales, I was placed with other families, hoping they could have a positive influence. Each family had their own culture, race, and customs to share with me, but my trauma was stronger than their love. Unfortunately, my juvenile delinquent behavior led to moving between these different families. I am grateful for the Vandertimes, Clinkscales, Garcia, Marshall, Pam, Nancy, and Grandma Donna for offering loving homes. While it taught me love and adaptability, it also left me struggling with identity. I felt like I belonged everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Growing up without a stable sense of self created a lot of confusion for me. I didn't know where to plant my roots, how to build deep connections, or how to trust that I truly belonged somewhere. As I started my own family, I realized that those unresolved struggles were showing up in my role as a husband and a father. Fast forward to a conversation I had with my wife, Nicole. We were talking about our kids, what I like to call the domestic debriefing, how they're doing, what their grades are like, who are the new friends. And then she tells me that my kids, the one I feed, clothe, shelter, etc., that they weren't fully comfortable opening up to me. It wasn't that they didn't love me. They were hesitant because they feared how I might react. They felt my responses were more about critiquing them than understanding them. My response was, man, bump them kids. That's what they have a mother for. I don't need to hear all the sob stories. I guess I was joking, kind of not joking. Yet that realization cut deep. As a father, I was becoming the very person I never wanted to be. Someone whose presence caused hesitation rather than comfort. Instead of being their safe place, I become a source of stress. That was my wake up call. I knew I had to change. I couldn't hold my kids accountable without first holding myself accountable. So that's when we created the Angry Dad Progress Report. It started as a way for me to track my own growth as a father and husband, making sure I was leading with understanding instead of frustration. Over time, it evolved into a structured accountability system that is helping my entire family improve communication, emotional awareness, and goal setting. So, what is the Angry Dad Progress Report? Was a fun, gamified accountability system designed to help families build stronger relationships through communication, goal setting, and teamwork. It turns personal growth and family bonding into an interactive experience, using humor and structure to keep everyone engaged. Our website, angrydadprogressreport.com, is a great way to start for any dad wanting to grow through our online courses. There, you will find resources such as access to coaches, counselors, and therapists. Also, we have tools such as this podcast, where we will bring on experts and real dads sharing their journey. Finally, is the Angry Dad Progress Report workbook that brings this all to life. This is a physical book that you and your family can use to track your progress. The Angry Dad Progress Report provides a comprehensive toolkit that features a family contract where you and your family agree on goals, responsibilities, and support systems. Weekly and monthly progress reports to track growth along with mindfulness reflection. We deal with goal setting worksheets where we use SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals to track long term dreams. You have an accountability journal for personal reflection on wins, challenges, and lessons. There's conflict resolution worksheets. There's structured ways to handle disagreements. The mindfulness activity cards, 10 exercises for calm, focus, and emotional awareness. Then there's the fun of the sticker chart and badge system. These gamified rewards for hitting milestones or even facing setbacks. Family vision map, where you build a shared family mission, values, goals, and routines, and so much more. At its core, the Angry Dad Progress Report is about self checking. It forces me to ask, How am I reacting to situations? Am I really listening? Am I meeting my family's emotional needs? And most importantly, am I creating an environment where my kids feel safe to be open with me? The report includes key areas like emotional control, active listening, and being present with my family. My wife Nicole and I even involve the kids in the process. They give me honest feedback on how I'm doing. It's humbling, but it's necessary. Even the dog gets a say. I'm not kidding. I'm accountable to my pet as well. His mother charts my progress in areas such as time we spend walking, whether I'm keeping track of his appointments, etc. You know, we as dads are often expected to be strong, but strength without accountability can lead to cracks in the foundation. Without checking ourselves, we can become rigid, unapproachable, or even harmful. The Angry Dad Progress Report helps me face those cracks and repair them before they turn into long term damage. Looking back, I see how being an orphan shaped me. I didn't have a blueprint for fatherhood. Even with all of the men who made themselves available to me, I didn't grow up seeing what a healthy, emotionally present dad looked like. That lack of structure created frustration in my own parenting because I was trying to build something I had never seen modeled for me. But that's why this journey of self reflection has been so important. I've learned to confront that trauma, acknowledge its effects, and make a conscious effort to do better. Instead of repeating the cycle, I'm rewriting it. If you're listening and you've ever felt like you've fallen short as a father or partner, I want you to know you're not alone. We all have areas where we can do better, and that's okay. The key is recognizing it and taking action. That's what the Angry Dad Progress Report is all about. In future episodes, we'll dive deeper into the tools and strategies that have helped me improve as a father. I'll bring on experts, fellow dads, and even some of my own family members to share their experiences. In episode 2, we'll feature Patrick Nelson, MALLPCCPS, on the topic Understanding Accountability and Fatherhood, what it means, how to achieve it, and why it's essential for creating healthy family dynamics. We'll be hearing from our guest about how we, as fathers, can step up and take control of our emotional reactions to create stronger relationships at home. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of the Angry Dad Progress Report. If you're ready to start your own journey of accountability, stick with me. It'll be worth it. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platforms. Please share this with a fellow dad and reach out with your thoughts, questions, or progress reports on our website at angrydadprogressreport.com. I am David Clinkscales. Let's grow together.